So is the Oura ring actually worth it, or is it just a pricey $300 ring with a subscription? I wore the Oura ring for 2 years and it taught me things about my health that I would have never guessed on my own. This tiny ring knew I was getting sick before I even did, and it's completely changed how I manage my stress, sleep, and hormones. So my first impressions and the design. When I first put it on the very first time 2 years ago, and I can't believe it's been so long now, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna feel like I have something on my hand forever and it's gonna feel so awkward and uncomfortable. What the heck am I gonna do with this thing? But eventually you get so used to it, you don't feel this thing on my hand anymore. And weirdly now, if I don't have the ring on, I feel like something is missing from my hand. And yes, as a con, I do have a permanent little indent here on my finger because I never take it off. The sizing kit was a help and it was accurate. Keep in mind that Oura ring sizing is not like a normal ring sizing. You actually have to go to their website and order like a sizing kit, or you can go to, I believe, Best Buy and they have one there and you can actually just measure your finger before you commit to ordering a size. You should definitely do that. Speaking on battery life, the battery life was great when I first ordered it 2 years ago. It would last me several days, like 4 or 5 days, sometimes even a little longer. But now as the ring has gotten older and older, unfortunately, it's a little bit like an iPhone that now this thing only lasts me about 3 days of charge, when before it used to last way longer. I can't help thinking like the same as the iPhone conspiracy that when the new iPhones come out, they make the old ones not work as well so that it kind of like forces you to buy a new one, and the battery life on the old iPhones stink because of that. But of course, I will keep my thoughts to myself. Or not really, because this is a public YouTube channel. So definitely the star on this thing is the sleep tracking and how accurate it really is at tracking the quality of the night's sleep that you just had. It actually uses a medical grade sleep tracker on the inside of this thing. So it actually is the most accurate from what I have found on the market, even more so than competitors like Whoop. It really does exceptionally well at tracking deep sleep versus REM sleep versus light sleep. It knows exactly where you were on each phase of your sleep cycle, and it actually tells you what time REM starts onsetting. So for example, as you could probably see here by my chart, my REM is actually a little bit delayed, which is not good because that can actually increase your risk of Alzheimer's or dementia down the line. So when I first started with my Oura ring, my REM sleep would onset much later than it should, ideally within 90 minutes of falling asleep, and sometimes my REM sleep would take much longer than that. So one great benefit of the Oura ring is I've been able to track my habits and see what brings my REM to start happening sooner. So I can actually test and see, is this blue light that I'm exposed to making my REM come later? Is a heavy meal causing my REM to come later? So with the Oura ring, I was actually able to start pinpointing what was making my REM sleep come so much later than it should every single night. And I could test a bunch of things out because I had a tracker. What time I ate at night, if I looked at my cell phone, if I was too stimulated in my small business. So if you're really looking to improve your sleep at that level for longevity, definitely I would recommend the Oura ring. It is much higher tier than any other sleep tracker I have been able to find that can easily just go on your body. And sleep is the #1 thing we can do for longevity, so it's pretty darn important. Now, another thing that the Oura ring gives you during the day is a readiness score. It actually determines it based on your HRV, which is your heart rate variability, your sleep score, and how well you've been exercising over the last couple of days, as well as a couple of other factors it uses, which determines basically how ready you are for the day. Unfortunately, with this, I've never found it to truly be 100% accurate. Some days, even though I haven't had the best sleep and maybe I passed on doing my workout the day before, my readiness score would be through the floor and would be pretty bad. But when I woke up, I was feeling fantastic. I felt like I had a bunch of energy. I was ready to attack the day. I felt awesome. and then I would check my readiness score, and then the thing would be at like a 60, or it would be at like a 40. It would just say fair readiness, and it would say try to prioritize rest and recovery today. It's okay if you're not feeling so good. And in a weird way, it would kind of make me start feeling worse. Because I would think, is this a self-fulfilling prophecy? Since I didn't get good sleep, now I have to feel bad? In a weird sense, I really haven't found the readiness score to be helpful at all, and typically disregard it every time I open up my Oura app. The sleep score though is very accurate, and it's really cool having a score on this. Tracking the sleep score has been a game changer because, as author Peter Drucker says, what gets measured gets improved. So if you have no idea where you're starting, you're kind of just guessing to see what improves your sleep every single night. But when you have a tracker, you can actually start changing different inputs and actually seeing what works for you specifically. Because you might hear advice from people online, but you'll never know if it actually works for your body until you see something that's customized to you and actually see your sleep score improving by changing those habits. Because pretty much, if you don't have a tracker, you're just relying on feeling, which isn't always a bad thing, but for someone like me, I love to rely on data. Another great thing about the Oura Ring is that it has activity and movement tracking, and honestly, it's pretty accurate in that sense. When I compare it to a normal step counter on my phone, or when I used to have a Fitbit, the Oura Ring's step tracking is actually pretty accurate, and the amount of movement it said you did that day is pretty spot on. I will say though, if you want to get down to the real nitty-gritty, like your heart rate while you did a certain exercise, or the exact amount of calories that you're burning in like a certain moment, probably the Whoop or an Apple Watch would be much better for this. The Oura Ring, I'd say, is not the best fitness tracker, even though it technically does track fitness. I would say that it's a top tier sleep tracker and an okay fitness tracker. But if you do want to track your fitness in a general sense, it's pretty good for that. And by the way, if you are enjoying this video and you want to learn more tips on increasing your longevity, how to actually improve your sleep score, and other things that are going to improve your health, make sure to pop your girl a subscribe, as this channel is all about longevity and biohacking content. And I share here as well how I've reduced my pace of aging to slower than a teenager. Continuing on to another pro about the Oura Ring, I will have to preface this with the fact that I am a simple woman. I like to have all of my things in one place. I don't like having 10 different apps for 10 different things. For example, before the Oura Ring, I used to have an app for sleep tracking. I used to have an app to track my menstrual cycles. I used to have an app to track my heart rate. I used to have an app to track my fitness and the amount of calories I burned that day. So I had so many dang apps. And for me, what I tell all of my subscribers and my health superstar students who participate in my courses about improving their health is that you want to make health as simple as possible. If something is super complicated, it's going to be way harder to stick to it and just be healthy over the long term. And health in itself is pretty dang simple. And so I removed all of those overwhelming apps on my smartphone, and now I just have one app, which is the Oura Ring, which tracks it all right inside of there and does everything for me. So long story short, I am very happy I don't have to open 10 different apps on my phone on the daily. Side note, as a woman, it's very helpful to have menstrual cycle trackers, especially if you are trying to conceive, or even as a woman if you want to know if you are in the follicular or in the luteal phase and when your menstrual cycle might be coming. Now, something I consider a con about this ring is the $6 a month membership. Now, while $6 a month in itself is really not a bad price to be paying for anything, because let's be real, how much do we all pay for our Netflix membership? Yeah, probably a lot more. Guilty. But when I did initially buy the ring for $300, I thought that I was not gonna have to continue paying anything else. Considering the fact that I've had the ring for 2 years, which is 24 months, I have paid over $144 extra now just on the Oura Ring membership. So I've almost paid half of what the ring is even worth just on the membership alone over the last 2 years. And you know what, guys? I'm actually due for another Oura ring because I have the old generation, and as I mentioned, it doesn't have the charge that the new generations have, and the new generations have other features that I might want. And leading into that is another con of this ring, which is the fact that whenever I lift weights, it actually scratches the underside of the ring. And not just when I lift weights. I think that the outer coating on the Oura ring could be a little bit stronger to resist scratches. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it here, but my backside of my Oura ring has a lot of scratches on it and it's turning gray. The front side looks much nicer than the backside. Front side, backside. And because I never take off my Oura ring and I wear it with even formal or fancier outfits, I definitely don't love the fact that it's all scratched and beat up. And don't get me wrong, I take good care of this ring. I wear gloves when I'm exercising and I take it off in the shower. A pro as well is that it is waterproof, so you can still use it to track your exercise while you're doing swimming or other wet type of cardio. But personally, I take mine off just to be safe because the ring still was $300 and your girl does not want to take her chances. Overall, I would rate the Oura ring a 9 out of 10. Yes, I might be giving it a very generous review, but I have to say it's drastically helped improve my longevity over the long haul because at the end of the day, my sleep is way, way better than it was when I first started using Oura. I've started going to bed earlier, at the same time, and I stopped eating so close before bed, 3 things that my Oura ring was telling me were destroying my sleep and keeping my heart rate elevated throughout the night. And just that alone made the ring worth it because sleep is the #1 thing we can do for longevity and improving our health. And if you have good sleep, it makes you more likely to participate in healthier habits the next day. Because think about it, if you have a bad night of sleep, it makes us more likely to eat junk food and feel tired and groggy the next day. So overall, yeah, Oura ring has really improved my life. It's also made me more aware of stress because it does also track your stress throughout the day. And as a small business owner, I personally can just be on a stress roller coaster all day long. So Oura ring makes me more insightful about this and really learn how to control and manage my stress. Sometimes Oura will be like, hey girl, you've been really stressed all day. So it makes me actually take a step back and meditate a little bit so I can bring my heart rate down. So I would definitely recommend this ring for anybody. It can be useful for anyone who's just generally trying to improve their health as an average person, or even top tier biohackers who are looking to track every single little nuance about their sleep. I'd probably say if you're a workout junkie and you want to track every single nuance about your exercises, exactly where your heart rate is when you do XYZ exercise, maybe a Whoop band might be better. But overall, I would recommend it. And again, if this video was helpful and you're looking to improve your health, make sure to subscribe and check out this video here for more health tips.